The pioneers of performance, how these famous teachers formed the foundation of acting today.
Вот слушайте, значит, вы сейчас что вы делали, когда начали играть? Вы приспособлялись друг к другу или нет?
Before lights, camera, action, there was the stage, the theater. Sometime around the 6th century BC, vibrant theater traditions began to flourish in classical Athens, Greece, and evolved as various cultures of performers, writers, poets, and artists experimented across the globe with this artistic medium. You may have heard the word thespian tossed around in your high school, claimed proudly by the happy-to-be theater folk, quoting Shakespeare and practicing their prose and accents.
Upon the king! We must bear all! No! Oh God!
Held in honor of the Greek god Dionysus, known as the god of wine but later deemed as a patron of the arts, he was dualistic in nature, associated with divine joy and ecstasy as well as brutal/blinding rage. Was the festival City Dionysia. It featured competitions in music, poetry, dancing, and singing. A notable winner was a wandering bard named Thespis, who, according to a tradition, astounded audiences and was the first actor in Greek drama. It was from Thespis that this word was coined and is commonly used today to describe that which is related to drama and theater.
And singers started acting out the action instead of just singing it. This actor was called Thespis. Actually, that was his name, and that's where we get the noun thespian.
The evolutionary art of acting and performance is one that is traced back to many great visionaries, performers, and teachers, some of which fought vigorously to shape and reshape the fundamental structure and scientific approach of emotion, character, and movement. Those who not only embodied an unbridled passion for the art form, but endlessly sought to explore the limits of the imagination, transcend boundaries, and sculpt the architecture for the art form we see in modern film and theater today.
Truth and nature of love.
Konstantin Stanislavski. You may have also heard, either in the theater or film community, someone sardonically snicker something like, "He's so method." The person would have been referring to the naturalistic performance technique known as method acting. Stanislavski formed the fundamentals of this system and is sometimes deemed as the father of the method, which was later adopted and extrapolated by other well-known teachers as a result of his influence, such as Strasberg, who is also referred to as the father of the method.
Because otherwise we have no background for these characters. The background is all in the mind.
Stanislavski was a Russian stage actor and director, and in my opinion, something like a scientist to the world of acting. He founded the Moscow Art Theater, which drastically changed American theater after touring the States. Stanislavski started studying the art of acting in his teens and held high standards and aspirations for himself as a performer, always eager to get to the heart of what made the form of expression profound, authentic, and unscramble the mystery of combining the need to pretend with the need to express something true. He himself struggled to perform authentically in a way he was satisfied with, attempting anything and everything in his efforts to achieve greatness. He had many successes and failures, but even in his most mediocre, he continued to crank the levers, strenuously hurling through trial and error to capture the essence of the art form. After a stifling undertaking that lasted years of his life, searching, experimenting, studying, and failing, eventually he struck gold and went on to design an integral psychological tool for performers, employing the most popular acting basics of modern times. His theory involved the exhibition of realistic acting by instructing performers to draw from experiences of their own lives, engaging in a deep understanding of character motivation, circumstance, and unassuming realism to provide a significant depth to their performance.
But then I think that I might have given up on the whole idea of romantic love, that I might have put it to bed.
This approach emphasized dramatic self-analysis and discipline with emotional memory.
I've abandoned my child!
He encouraged actors to ask the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why. He used this approach to help substantiate a reservoir from which the emotion would not just appear authentic, but actually be felt and integrated within the exploration of the character.
Any of you or anyone else knows it, I know I need this. This amendment is that cure.
Some of the greatest actors in film and theater today have stood behind this method, and it continues to enrich the quality of transcendent believability in performances all around the globe. Lee Strasberg. The human being who acts is the human being who lives. That is a terrifying circumstance. Essentially, the actor acts a fiction, a dream. In life, the stimuli to which we respond are always real. The actor must constantly respond to stimuli that are imaginary, and yet this must happen not only just as it happens in life, but also actually more fully and more expressively. Although the actor can do things in life quite easily, when he has to do the same thing on the stage under fictitious conditions, he has difficulty because he is not equipped as a human being merely to play act at imitating life. He must somehow believe. He must somehow be able to convince himself of the rightness of what he is doing in order to do things fully on stage. Although Stanislavski was the original architect of the system, Lee Strasberg is often regarded as the father of the method in America for his revisions and his successful integration of these teachings in the U.S.
Much because he's going to come closer to you. And then when he comes, hold on to us so that she will have to break away.
He was densely concentrated on using emotional identification to find a way in, incorporating effective memory and improvisation for authenticity. Strasberg was an actor, director, and theater practitioner who emigrated to New York in 1909 from what was then Austria-Poland, now Ukraine. Years later, after dropping out of high school, Lee acted in a small part in his first Yiddish-language production performed by the Progressive Drama Club. His true passion for the art blossomed after witnessing a production by the Moscow Art Theater, which inspired him to study the style and teachings of Stanislavski.
Those different values come in life from the fact that these things have happened, and therefore they already have built impulses.
He had never witnessed an ensemble surrendering their egos to act, and was invigorated.
You'll look like a lawyer, and you'll be a lawyer.
Polishing Stanislavski's system, he studied the method, dealing with the psychological depths of acting while demanding strict discipline. Most actors today, upon first exposure to the art form, are taught the fundamental exercises that were developed in his studio, the Actor's Studio, which yielded some of the first great film and theater actors to date.
It's a scene in which somebody else talks, but the actor was able to do it without the presence of the partner.
Sanford Meisner. To be an interesting actor, hell, to be an interesting human being, you must be authentic, and for you to be authentic, you must embrace who you really are, warts and all. Do you have any idea how liberating it is to not care what people think about you? Well, that's what we're here to do. Sanford Meisner. Sanford Meisner was an American actor and acting teacher born in Brooklyn to two Jewish immigrants who came to the United States from Hungary. He studied under Lee Strasberg, but was known for developing an entirely new set of exercises that focused heavily on the underlying impulses of the actor and the reality of doing.
With Meisner, it was all imaginary. It's as if this is happening.
Before his ambitions as an actor, Strasberg was a pianist, but was pulled out of school to help with the family business. Meisner's unconventional approaches to method were considered unorthodox, but have been widely successful to date.
Acting is an emotional profession.
The Meisner technique is described as a step-by-step procedure of self-investigation. His experimental exercises are geared to inspire actors to live truthfully under imaginary circumstances, to respond to their instincts and the stimuli of the present environment.
Is to live moment to moment, to not live in the past, to live truthfully.
His idea was to probe actors to get out of their own heads, emphasizing a responsiveness to the other actor as opposed to one's own internal feelings and character. His unique approach involves repetition exercise, often using dialogue as a vehicle, but highlighting the subtlety of emotion for transitions in order to mitigate the staleness of words and keep his performers tuned, present, and spontaneous.
You have warm eyes.
You have warm eyes.
The method is commonly used today and is recognized as a fundamental acting technique globally.
Oh.
That's right.
Stella Adler. Stella Adler, a gifted American actress and teacher, was another one of the most significant figures in acting history, as she offered another technique that emphasized analysis of the script and a respect for the playwright.
That says you do the deepest research that you can to understand everything about that story and everything about that character.
Her ideas differed from the others in terms of utilizing their own life experiences to provoke authentic emotional responses. She felt that the substitution of a real emotion or trauma to elicit authentic feeling in a character was potentially damaging, and formulated a new structure to maintain depth in performance while discarding the memory recall premise.
All acting is imaginative and in the imagination, since it's easier.
She felt the character's life experiences, circumstances, and personality could be determined through intense breakdown of the script itself. She instructed performers to align the character's circumstances to their own actions, or vice versa, as opposed to warping the character to suit their own personal emotional recall.
You talking to me? Then who the hell else are you talking to? Talking to me?
She believed in curiosity and observation as fuels for imagination, creating imagery in order to deliver truthful performances and communicate big ideas that serve humanity.
This is what I consider an actor that plays in a modern play.
Tribute to the greatest acting teachers. It's clear that while everyone is influenced by someone, the world of film and theater would be very different without these passionate creatives and their elaborate, inspired leapfrog of each other's techniques and teachings. It is their belief and dedication to the craft that push them to keep expanding boundaries while searching and experimenting, ultimately leading them to break the precipice of some utterly remarkable strategies for engaging in truthful, transcendental artistry. These acting architects are the backbone of theater, film, and television today. Their fearless perseverance, inquisitive analysis, and honorable dedication to the sacred mysteries of performance lives on, in every household, in every dressing room behind the stage, in every chatty acting class, each fast-paced film set, every thespian, and anyone who has ever been impacted by a truly unforgettable performance.
I want you to know that it is more interesting for the actor to use his imagination than it is for him to use his experience.